One early morning, the sunlight shone across the vast plains of South Luangwa National Park in Zambia. The rangers in the park were monitoring a male lion named Nico through a tracking device attached to his neck. Nico was a young, powerful, and curious lion, often wandering far from his pride to explore unfamiliar territory. That morning, Nico felt drawn toward a massive tree growing near the bend of a seasonal river. Drawn by the thick canopy of leaves, Nico lifted his head and walked closer to investigate. That he decided to climb the thick tree trunk to gain a better view of the surroundings. Using his sharp claws, Nico ascended the trunk step by step, the branches brushing against his golden-brown mane. As he reached a sturdy high branch, Nico unknowingly disturbed a large beehive hidden in a hollow within the tree. The sudden crackling noise echoed as the hive dislodged and smashed onto the branch below. Panicked and now homeless, the bees swarmed out in a frenzy, buzzing in all directions. In search of the intruder, Nico instantly felt searing pain as the agitated bees began stinging into his skin. The furious swarm clung to him, forming dark, writhing patches on his body. Startled by the assault, Nico stumbled backward, then prepared to leap from the branch in agony. With a desperate push, he hurled himself toward the ground, yowling in pain. Though the landing was solid, Nico couldn't shake the swarm of bees that clung to his fur. His roar echoed through the bushveld, raw with pain and desperation. That he rolled violently on the ground, trying in vain to dislodge the angry insects, but every roll only aggravated the bees further, intensifying the stings. The burning sensation crawled across his skin like fire, making him thrash uncontrollably. Nico broke into a sprint toward a muddy depression, a shallow marsh fed by the river. He plunged into the water, dunking his head and thrashing his body, trying to drown the tormentors. Still, many bees clung to him, while others circled back, settling again on new spots. On a nearby ridge, the ranger team noticed that Nico's signal had gone static for far too long. He was no longer moving. Concerned, the park's conservation unit decided to deploy a rescue response. The patrol unit headed out quickly toward the location of the last GPS ping. Arriving near the waterhole, they saw a surreal sight: Nico submerged in muddy water, with a black mass of bees still attached to him. Some rangers gasped in disbelief at the thick carpet of buzzing insects moving across his drenched back. An emergency intervention was clearly needed. Without action, Nico wouldn't survive. The team lead ordered reinforcements, including protective suits and specialized beekeeping tools. They suited up, full body gear, heavy gloves, and sealed helmets, knowing one mistake could turn the swarm on them. A support truck arrived, loaded with smoke canisters, insect nets, and containment boxes. Their first mission: to separate the bees from Nico without provoking another assault. The team quickly devised a strategy for approach and containment point. One group would deploy smoke to disorient the bees and break up their swarm pattern. Meanwhile, a second group would attempt to gently remove the bees from the lion's body. Slowly, carefully, the team began to advance, respecting the danger surrounding them. Nico lay still, panting heavily, clearly exhausted from the pain and dehydration. His low, strained growls spurred the rescuers to act faster, but not recklessly. The smoke team began their work, releasing a controlled haze into the air around the lion. A cloud of smoke drifted across the area, and the bees started to scatter in confusion. Some clung to the rescuers' gear, but their stingers failed to penetrate the protective layers. Seeing a window of opportunity, the second team moved closer, inch by inch, with gloved hands. They began lifting clusters of bees from Nico's body with extreme care. Each group of bees was placed into containment boxes, sealed to prevent rejoining the swarm. The constant buzz filled the team's ears, but they remained focused and composed. It took nearly 15 tense minutes to fully remove the last clusters from Nico's mane and spine. Underneath, the damage was revealed: reddened, swollen skin covered in painful welts. Nico let out a weak moan, his eyes locking onto the team with visible suffering. The park's veterinary unit stepped forward, preparing an injection of anti-inflammatory medication and anesthetic. A steady hand administered the shot into Nico's thigh, aiming to ease his agony. Meanwhile, more smoke was released around the perimeter to prevent the bees from returning. Only once the bees were pushed far off did the full team approach to assess Nico's condition. Though covered in stings from ears to tail, The lion had miraculously avoided any fatal injuries. A second injection of antibiotics was given to ward off infection. Then, the team began carefully washing his skin and applying cooling ointment to the inflamed areas. Every movement was deliberate and gentle. Nico was drained, both physically and mentally, with his condition stabilized, and 4-drip was attached to replenish fluids and restore strength. Gradually, his rapid breathing calmed, and his growls faded into quiet exhalations. Seeing signs of improvement, the team gently supported Nico to a standing position. He stumbled, his legs shaky, but managed to stay upright with a bit of help. The rangers knew he needed rest and energy to begin recovering properly. A tray of freshly butchered meat was brought and set nearby. At first, Nico hesitated, but the smell of food slowly coaxed him forward. He began to eat, slowly and cautiously, his body still trembling from the ordeal. As he chewed, the team breathed a collective sigh of relief. After he finished, Nico licked his lips, his gaze scanning the area with less fear. The rangers decided it was time to return him to his pride. Using a specially equipped vehicle with a flat platform, they loaded Nico gently for transport. He didn't resist. Perhaps he sensed their goodwill. The vehicle rumbled down a dirt track toward the region where Nico's pride often roamed. Rangers monitored the GPS data to ensure they approached the correct location. When they arrived, the vehicle stopped, and the gate was open to let Nico out. Stepping onto the dry grass, Nico lifted his nose and sniffed. His pride was near. In the distance, several lions lounged beneath an acacia tree. Alerting to his presence. As Nico advanced slowly, they responded with soft, familiar growls. He approached, rubbing his head against one of the older males, a sign of affection and recognition. The rangers observed silently, ready to act if tensions rose. But there was no hostility, only calm acceptance. Nico settled beside his kin, eyes tired but body safe. A conservationist quietly updated Nico's health log, noting his recovery status. The team agreed to monitor him closely in the days to come. They believed the treatments would ensure his full recovery. Packing up their equipment, they left the lion to rest with his pride. Back at base, the team remained on alert, radios in hand in case further aid was needed. They felt proud. Today, they had saved a creature that embodied the wild soul of the savanna, and from that day on, Nico's ordeal became a lasting lesson. In the wilderness, even kings can fall, but they can also rise again.
Thank you for watching till the end. Please like and subscribe to support us.